the Trump people believe that something is wrong with the idea of America being a dynamic project. They want it to be a static project.
Over the weekend, as many of you know, I was in New Orleans for the Black Caucus of the American Librarians Association, and I ran into this really amazing woman. Come to find out, we both live here in Maryland, and she lives over in Bowie, and I'm in Accokeek, so we don't live that far from each other. And as we got to talking, she told me about one of the authors who is under her imprint. And I was like, oh, shoot, he's exactly who we need to talk to. So I'm not going to say much more because I'm going to let him tell you exactly who he is. I'm just saying this man knows what he's talking about. So you might want to listen up on this one. So make sure you have both of your ears on this one. But without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Dr. Molefi Kete Asante. Please tell me I said that correctly.
Yeah, you did.
Yay! How are you tonight?
I'm very well. Thank you so much. It's good. I'm looking forward. That's right. we all looking forward.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to this conversation because if anybody knows what he's talking about, is you. I know you've written a number of books. Well, 104 in all. But since the 2016 election, you've been really busy writing a lot of books just to help people to kind of understand what's going on behind the scenes.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, I have, Dr. Rhonda. And let me just tell you, I'm just very happy to be on your show. I'm delighted. This is wonderful. And I want to say hello to all of your audience and everybody. But, I was born in Georgia, in Valdosta, Georgia. And I went to school to study communication and ended up getting a PhD at UCLA in communication. But in that journey, during the period that I was in school, there was a great influence of a lot of psychologists, as well as communicationists, who were concerned about what had happened in Germany under Hitler. And they studied, everybody was studying Hitlerian rhetoric. They were trying to examine, how was it that the whole country of Germany, which at the time was considered to be a very educated country and a country that had really reached a very high level of understanding and rational decisions and technology, how was it that one person was able to turn that entire country around and make that country a country that would become anti-Jewish, anti-Roma, anti-gay, anti-Black? I mean, what was it in his rhetoric, in his language, that caused him to be able to do that to a rational, what we considered at that time a rational group of people? Well, so just to come forward a bit, and for many years, I have taught at universities for over actually 5 decades. I've taught at universities and I've taught communication, but I've also taught African studies. And what struck me about Trump and Donald Trump, I should point out, because there are other Trumps now, like Fred Trump and Mary Trump, and they have different ideas, all right? But what struck me about Donald Trump was that for the first time in my lifetime, there was an individual who at a national level was able to galvanize a group of ordinary Americans and mold them into a cult that was unbelievable to me, because I had always thought that those people who were able to do that were local, like in Joe Trump at a national level was doing this, not as a governor, not as a local politician, but at a national level. He was doing all the things that the people that we used to refer to as the worst people in the history of the world. You know, the Nazis did this. And what did he say? He basically demonized, that is, made devils out of everybody who was not for him or like him. And that is the basic kernel that the demagogue uses. Everybody who is not for me is against me, and those who are against me are inferior to me because I'm smarter than anybody else. And that's been his logic. It was the logic of Hitlerian rhetoric. It was the same. I remember seeing the film by Lena Riefenstahl, which is called Triumph of the Will. And that film was considered uh, one of the most outstanding propaganda films in history. But it showed you exactly how Hitler did what he did. And so I began recording statements that were made by Trump when he announced for the presidency. I began watching him, reading the newspapers, and it's out of that I wrote the book, The American Demagogue. And the Trump people believe that something is wrong with the idea of America being a dynamic project. They want it to be a static project. They want to go back 100 years, or some of them want to go back 200 years. Some of them want to keep African people enslaved, to enslave us. You know, that's the image they have of America. That is a white nation, mainly for white men. It's hierarchical in that sense and patriarchal, and no other people should be here. Now, meanwhile, the basic structure of the society is false. This is a country of indigenous people. This land existed here as a land of the Comanche and the Iroquois and the Lenape and the Cherokee and the Shawnee and the Muskogee long before any European stepped on this land. So this whole idea that somehow this land is only a land for white people is a false idea, but it's one of the ideas that a demagogue like Trump will use with white voters to get these white people all riled up that somebody's taking their land. No, you took somebody's land.
Exactly.
It's not somebody's taking your land. You took somebody's land. So
now, are we seeing a lot of that, and a lot of the evidence of what you're saying? We're seeing that in Project 2025.
Well, Project 25, Dr. Rhonda, is, in my judgment, one of the most awful documents ever written. But I think, as I think about it analytically, the way I look at Project 2025 is that, see, for a demagogue out there like Trump, who is saying things and riling up people, you can rile up people, but the question becomes, how do you maintain power? And what Project 25 does for somebody like Trump, or anybody who want to be like Trump, what it does is to take away all the guardrails that keep you from losing power. Because, see, in a democracy like we have in this country, supposedly, in a democracy, government is government by rational discourse. It's by argument, by talk, by debate, where people meet and decide, negotiate with each other. That's how democracies work. But with Project 2025, they want to take away all the institutions that are there to protect people and to give absolute power to the person who is the executive. And that is total fascism. It is total totalitarianism and authoritarianism. And it would allow Trump to do anything he pleases. I mean, I was shocked reading Project 2025 when I learned that they want to have control of the Center for Disease Control. They want to have control of the FDA. Food and Drug. He's
Already seen
illustrated.
that people will often believe lies because it's easier to do that. If my favorite politician said it, it's got to be true. If my
Absolutely.
favorite news agency said it, it's got to be true.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what has happened. Trump has, he built on his celebrity from television, and then he came into the political arena, and almost everything that he says, there is, I mean, he cannot go through a speech without making a lie. And all of it is wrapped up in this hateful attitude toward other people, and particularly black women. He just seems to have a penchant for attacking women, but black women particularly. It's like, oh no, here we go. Funny again, Letitia. Oh no, I mean, and so, but what I understand, because I understand American history and African American history, is that what has happened to him is that the sisters have developed a respect for law and a respect for a rational discourse and discussion that has really shocked him. And I think a lot of his followers, a lot of the people who claim to be Trump people, I think they also have a sense
It's
that
starting to
they,
see.
yes, absolutely. They don't understand where are these black people coming from? How do they get to be in these positions? And who are these people? And this, combined with the fact that they're also angry with immigrants,
Mhm.
immigrants who have really, and in fact, the people who are angry often are people who are immigrants themselves, just like Trump. Trump's family was an immigrant family. They're
Yes.
Germans. They came from
The vice
Germany.
president's wife is an immigrant too.
Absolutely. His wife is a recent immigrant. Absolutely. So they're all immigrants, and
Or
they
the vice president pick, I should say.
and
Not the
I
vice
bet she
president.
got special favors, and she probably
Mm.
got special favors. We don't know that, but I'm just saying that it's very important for us to understand that people who hate people and who build their political careers on the basis of hatred, what they're trying always to do is to destroy this notion of America as a dynamic democracy. Dynamic democracy, which means that at some point in the future, the country will not be majority white. And
But by saying something like that and just leaving it at that, by saying, if we don't do something about this now, in the next 50 years, we'll all be speaking Spanish. What it is a scare tactic.
it's a scare tactic.
And then when you look at, if you think about the movie Ants,
Yes.
if you remember that movie, the ants outnumbered the crickets, the grasshoppers.
Yes.
But the grasshoppers were the ones who had the power, and
That's
they were the ones who were able to take the ants, turn them against each other, strike fear in them, and that because that kept them in power. And that's
that's
exactly
right.
what we're seeing right now in real life.
It was such a wonderful analogy because you are perfectly right, and that's what is happening. And the thing is that those levers of power really or have been in the hands traditionally of white males, and now they're seeing this shift. This is why they initially didn't want Barack Obama as president. That's why uh, uh, Trump started this birthers thing. He's not born in America. He's
Right.
not. He's not here. And this is the same
And
thing
then
that he
starting to
wants to
use his
say
middle
about
name
Kamala.
against him.
Yeah,
Making sure he said Barack Hussein Obama.
absolutely, absolutely. You gotta do everything because all of this is appeal. This is appeal to the most uh, uneducated, ordinary uh, uh, white person who has a heart full of hatred against other people. That's what that appeal is about. It's a is appeal about he's not like us or she's not like us. I mean, this is the thing which comes with Kamala. That as I heard earlier, that the question about whether or not she's Asian or I didn't know whether he was black or something that he apparently said
Yeah, he
to the
said it
black
at the
journalist.
National Association of Black Journalists. He said that he didn't know that Kamala was black until recently, because when she was elected, when she was in California, she was the first Asian, or the first Asian American attorney general.
Yeah,
And she got ready to run for vice president, and now running for president. All of a sudden, she was
she's
black.
black.
Didn't know
No,
she was black. And
no,
is I've seen a number of people. I saw it today on Instagram, where a number of people have been trying to argue that point, saying,
no.
"Well, she's not black. She's only trying to be black now because she wants our vote." But even if she is, people, the black race has been pandered to every 4 years. We're pandered,
Absolutely, absolutely,
but
absolutely,
that's why we have to vote with our conscience.
absolutely, and